We've seen politicians lie, corruption exposed. We've seen the media turn to a propaganda machine, the means of suppression, and the machine behind a political candidate running for the highest office in the world, while Americans are told to be afraid to assemble peacefully in protest, but allowed to riot in mass numbers. Voters are willing to seat a man in the Oval Office that has proven to be a racist, proven to be a career politician, proven that a 47-year political career as a public servant can make a man a millionaire, proven to be involved with criminal corruption, and proven to have been bought by foreign adversaries. And they are willing to give up everything because they've been told to hate. They've been programmed to despise someone, not for their actions or their record, but for a phony facade completely made up by an oppositional political party that has proven that they will literally sacrifice national security in exchange for power, control, and money. Backroom secret deals have been brokered in the best interest of the elite rather than for the citizens that have been duped by a false campaign promise before being thrown into the ditch and completely left behind, f***ed over, and forgotten. I'm sorry. I owe the listeners of this program an apology for my language, but I will never, Richard, apologize for the passion that I have for this country. I'll never apologize for removing my hat for that flag, for putting my hand over my heart and singing the Star-Spangled Banner. I will never apologize for America. I refuse to bow to any man. And I will never apologize for my whiteness. I will never apologize for my support of the police on our streets in this country, or for the same support of the brave men and women of the United States military like you that continue to sign up as true patriots, ready to make the ultimate sacrifice for the very freedoms that have become twisted, contorted, and abused by radicals from within our own borders in an effort to overthrow a democracy in their pursuit of socialism, which will eventually lead to communism and ultimately the fall of America. I will not apologize. We're being told that we need to accept the results of the stolen election and that we're supposed to, quote, grow a set. That's according to Whoopi Goldberg, the quickly failing and desperate washed-up actress turned political activist. She's radicalized by the pressure she feels to stay relevant in a quickly sliding career at its miserable end. Yeah, I seem to recall that doctor, what was his name? He put the fear of God into elderly people and citizens that had underlying health conditions. Blippy. And then, do you remember how later we found out that doctor had a financial stake in the game, and it later came to light that he didn't even believe what he was saying as he told the entire country they should wear a mask. But then he went to a Major League Baseball game, and as the cameras panned the stadium, there he was right next to his buddies with no mask on. COVID.
Worse than Baba Booey.
Yeah, that's what they called it, COVID. And then what was that woman's name, that crazy one? Remember her, the Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi? Yes, that was her. She really shed the light on the importance of lockdowns and masking. I mean, she was the one that proved how dangerous the virus was for anyone that wanted to get together over the summer to go out to eat or have some drinks with your buddies. Remember, she was like a mask nut job. She was a Nazi. She was like Lenin with those masks. I think she even had some masking police. My God, she was really convinced that virus was going to take us all down. I mean, she shut down restaurants and gyms. In California, you couldn't even get a haircut. I mean, she shut down salons. Oh, except for hers. Yeah. She was busted and exposed as a complete fraud and a total liar after a hair salon owner leaked footage of her getting her wig blowed out with no mask on, creeping around like some crazy criminal. Yeah, that was crazy. Those were the times. 2020. What a year that was. Am I supposed to believe the same media that suppressed the biggest story in our lifetime about how a father used his son as a money mule to cash out on a Ponzi scheme with foreign adversaries to this country as he compromised the national security of America and sold us out as the vice president of the United States? The same media that prematurely called an election for the highest office in the world, ignoring the fact that no state had certified their poll numbers. Massive fraud is suspected. Men married to Democratic senators sit on the board of directors for a computer company that supposedly mistakenly glitched, taking votes away from Donald Trump and giving them to Joe Biden. So forgive me if I don't cower before my master, cover my face with a mask that isn't backed by any scientific data, close down my business, and lock myself inside for the winter because I'm told by the same people who've attempted multiple times to unseat a duly elected president by manufacturing lies about racism, misogyny, and Ukrainian phone calls, while corrupt establishment deep state politicians organize a fourth attempt at a coup d'etat. Despite the media's attempt to frame Biden as the good guy that was going to bring down the racist, misogynist, bigoted orange man, Trump continued to work as he led the world's biggest economy, the lowest unemployment rates the black community has ever seen, the strongest military in our nation's history, and the most robust following a presidential campaign has ever witnessed, producing unprecedented crowds, edging 30 to 40,000 inside campaign events with tens of thousands outside the gates unable to get in. You're supposed to feel like you're losing your mind. That's the plan. Don't you see? You're supposed to lay awake at night, tossing and turning, thinking about how impossible it would be for someone to pull this off. It can't be possible to literally steal an entire presidential election and rig the whole damn system, making it impossible for Trump to be reelected. You're supposed to look at yourself in the mirror while you're brushing your teeth in the morning and say to yourself, literally, out loud, this is effing crazy. I have to be losing my mind. The constant debunking of the theory and fact-checking or censoring from big tech giants responsible for what you see in your Facebook and Twitter feeds, along with the mainstream media that constantly floods your living room. They construct your dinner table discussions with the illusion that you're a total nut job should you believe this narrative. It's exactly the outcome intended with the PSYOP mission sponsored by radicals on their own soil, on our soil, right here in America. The radicals we've elected, the representatives of Americans, are actually against America. It seems nuts, I know. But it's real, and you're not crazy. It's happening. This is all a part of the systematic targeting of America, sponsored by radical progressives whose aim is a totalitarian one-world order system. Here's what I would like to really say. If you have friends that voted for Joe Biden, do not let that be the separation between you. Do not let that be the separation, because they are Americans who believe in a democracy, but you have to have the conversation, and do not apologize. Do not back down when you demand that we know the truth as Americans. Do not allow somebody to tell you that Joe Biden won fair and square when we have evidence like this, when we have anomalies and verified, validated inconsistencies of a stolen election. We now have a duty as Americans, as the only superpower left in the entire world, the greatest nation on the face of the planet, hands down, without dispute in the history of the globe. We have to come together as Americans. We have to, as Republicans, Democrats, Biden, or Trumpers, you have to come together and you have to vow, I am not going to allow communist radicals to steal elections and overtake this country, not without a fight. And you have to be willing to stand up and fight, physically fight, if that's what it takes. But do not allow the conversation to happen, not on your timeline, not in your news feed, not on your social media, not in person, not anywhere, no way, no how should you ever accept somebody telling you that this thing was won fair and square. The same radical progressive Democrats that get absolutely giddy about a person's right to pull apart an unborn child with forceps is now telling us that we need to lock down to protect the vulnerable population. And they expect us not to ask questions. And they expect us to abide by these ridiculous rules. What planet are we on? I recognize this, so you should too. Assuming you attended a school with a curriculum that taught actual history, you know the rise of Hitler's Socialist Nazi Party of Germany. Hitler wasn't stupid, and neither are the elitist Fourth Reich Dukes of the United States, also known as the DNC. They have a very calculated approach to a plan that's designed to force your compliance with fear, along with the threat of fines, jail time, and physical violence. Narcissism must be a qualifying prerequisite to join the party of the elite, and the fact is, they don't care about your health. They don't care about your safety. They actually signal their promotion of violence and brute force, damage, and physical injury or death to anyone that opposes their position or dares to question the legitimacy, or for that matter, the constitutionality of the systematic takeover that uses fear to move the masses. And don't take my word for it, Richard, there are hundreds of videos pouring in, taking over social media depicting Black Lives Matter Incorporated and Antifa terrorists as they prey on women and elderly citizens, peacefully gathering in protest of a clearly rigged and stolen election, which by all accounts is the spit in the face, the shit on the grave, the kick in the balls of every blue-collared, hard-working, child-raising, patriotic soul of America. Patriots, we have been quiet, we have been peaceful, we have been truly tolerant until now. The fire-breathing dragon of righteousness, the golems of the Old Testament, the sleeping pride of lions have been aggravated, and that arousal could be detrimentally dangerous for the antagonist hyena scavenging the last meal in a time when going without eating for just one more day, one more minute, could mean the end of your family. There's nothing more dangerous than an animal backed in a corner. A man with nothing to lose.